¿Cómo debemos manejar las pérdidas?
How should we deal with a loss, or how should we manage losses?
If the loss you're talking about is a death of a loved one, am I assuming that's the subject, not the fact that the stock market went down? Okay. You should have an attitude when a loved one dies, not that something terrible and awful has happened, but that a new beginning has started. Okay? That person, whether it was from an accident and they were young, or maybe they're old, it doesn't matter. They're going to be starting a new adventure. So it's not the end. You have to think first that death is just like the elf, you know, it's just a temporary thing. It's a change of avatar. They're going to have to go get another avatar and start another game. So that may be inconvenient if you're young and lose a little time, but it may be a relief if you're old and in pain and can't really do much for yourself anymore, and your life quality has kind of gotten pretty low. So depending on the circumstances, it should either be, you know, sad because now you're going to miss them, right? So it's sad. But in the same way, it's glad because they're going on, particularly if it's an older person who's suffered because they're, you know, when you're old, it's not fun being old because things hurt. You can't do stuff you used to do. You need a lot more help. So that's not a lot of fun. So you're going to get another opportunity to do it all again in a fresh, new, energetic way, and that's good. So you should have those kinds of thoughts about it, that this is not a terrible, awful thing that's happened to this person. It's a terrible, awful thing that's happened to you, not to them. They're just dying. They're just going to get in another new life. Now you're going to have to go on without them. So that's sad. And we tend to feel more really sorry for ourselves. Most of our grieving, as it turns out, is we're grieving for us. Oh, you know, woe is me, I'm going to miss that person. They were so important to my life, and I love them, you know. And it's all about us and how we feel and how we want them back and what we want but can't have. And that makes us miserable. And what is all that? Ego. It's just ego. It's fear. How am I going to get along now without them? Fear. How will my life be changed? I don't want my life to be changed. Now everything is going to change. Fear. You see? So most of that negativeness that we get is our own fear, our own ego. We're worried about us and what we're going to have to put up with, the changes we're going to have to make, and what we're going to have to do without. It's not about them. They're going on with their existence, with their evolution. So think of it from that point of view, and maybe the burden will get a lot lighter from a bigger picture point of view, that death isn't really death. The consciousness never dies. It just moves on, and it has to move on. It can't stay the same. Who would want to become 90 years old and be 90 years old forever? Being 18 forever may not be too bad. Well, maybe 21. Oh, well, maybe 30. You know, you can kind of, there's advantages of all those ages. There's advantages of being 92. You've seen a lot more, and you've got a lot of wisdom and a lot of experience that the 20-year-old hasn't even imagined yet. You've had opportunities to learn a lot more and grow a lot more than the teenager who's still very self-centered, you see? So there's advantages that come with that age, but then it's time to let go and go on. So that's, I'd say, that's how you deal with the loss of a loved one, is you see it from a bigger picture. And don't see it from inside your fear and your ego. And don't make it about yourself. Let it be about them. So as you lose your fear and ego, your response to other people's death starts to change. You start to see it differently. And it's not that you become detached and really don't care. You still have passion. You still feel sorrow. It's sad. You're going to miss them. And that's all real. But you don't let it take over your life. You deal with it. Right? Stuff happens. People die. You deal with it. How you deal with it is what's important. And if you wallow around in self-pity for a long time, that's not the right choice. If you're sorry, you pay your respects, you remember, you give thanks for the time you had together, That's the way to deal with it. And then you go on with your life. Okay.